Here again with another episode. On a moving train, two friends on the run desperately fight off a relentless attack from a gang of ruthless dacoits. A battle that will seal their partnership in blood and bullets. On the roof of that same moving train, a man in the red jacket dances with a mysterious woman, a joyous, high stakes celebration of love and danger, surrounded by stunning mountain landscape. In a small, claustrophobic interrogation room, a quiet father calmly recounts his family's trips in the city, his mundane story serving an unbreakable alibi against the accusations of a hardened police inspector. Three different trains, different rooms, three unforgettable moments. Each one has a story itself. Each one is a perfectly constructible brick by in a wall of a larger narrative, each one a scene. Welcome back to Cinema Craft Achieve Season 1, the craft of screenwriting. For the past 8 episodes, we have been gathering our raw materials. We have explored the seal of our own story with theme. We have created living, breathing people with character, and we are given them a voice with a dialogue. Now we begin a new phase. We pick up the tools, we start to build and in screenwriting. You build your movie one brick at a time. The brick is the scene, understanding how to construct a compelling scene in the most fundamental practical skill a screenwriting can learn. This episode 9, the building block, the scene. A scene is defined in two ways, technically and dramatically. The technical definition is simple. It's a unit of action that takes place in a single location at a single continuous point in time. In a script, this is represented by scene heading. The like int coffee shop day. If the location changes, they walk outside or the time jumps forward an hour later. You write a new scene heading. That's a new scene. It's that basic organization principle of a screenplay, but the dramatic definition is the truly matters. Dramatically, a scene is a mini story. It's an interaction with the beginning, a middle, and the end, in which a character pursues a goal and met with conflict. If nothing changes from beginning to of a scene to the end, then I can promise you that scene is boring and probably does not need to be in your movie. Every great scene, whether it's a two-person conversation or massive car chase, contains the same essential DNA. First, the goal. At least one character in the scene, and perfectly every character must want something. The goal can be huge or it can be tiny, but it must exist. A character's want gives the scene its initial direction and the purpose. Second, the obstacle. Something must stand in the way of the goal. The obstacle creates conflict. If a character wants a glass of water and they simply get one, there is no scene. But if they want a glass of water and another character says, "We need to talk first," now you have an obstacle. Now you have conflict. Now you have a scene. And this conflict leads to the most crucial component of all, the turn. A scene must turn. It must end in a different emotional or narrative state than where it began. The value must change. A character can enter the scene feeling hopefully and leave feeling devastated. That's a turn from positive to negative. Or a scene can start with two characters as enemies and end with the reluctant allies. That's a turn. If a scene starts happy, ends happy, or starts sad, ends sad, then dramatically nothing has happened. The plot has not advanced, the characters were not changed, the scene has failed. Finally, a classic piece of advice: enter late, leave early. This means you should start your scene as close to core conflict as possible. We don't need to see characters saying hello and ordering coffee. Start the scene when one says, "I know you have been lying to me." Then the dramatic point is made. Get out. In the scene. No long drawn out goodbyes. Get in, create conflict, the turn, story, and get out. Let's see this Anatomy in action. The opening integration scene in Nishikant Kamat's Drishyam is a master class in scene construction. Let's break it down. We are in police station. The goal, the protagonist Vijay Salogankar wants to establish his alibi and present himself to a new the tough Inspector General Meera Deshmukh as a simple, unhappening, movie obsessed family man. His goal is deception. The obstacle Meera is intelligent, suspicious, and an expert in intimidation. She does not believe his story. Her goal is to break him, to find a in his carefully constructed narrative. The opposing goal create immediate, palpable conflict. Now let's watch the conflict play out. It's a chess match. Vijay uses his love of movie as both his shield and his weapon. He talks about film plots to explain away his knowledge of police procedure. He presents himself as a simpleton. Meera uses her power and authority. She brings up his daughter, trying to provoke an emotional reaction. She questions every detail. The dialogue is polite on the surface, but the subtext is brutal battle of wills. And most importantly, the scene begins with Mira is clear position of power. She is the IG, he is the suspect. But by the end of the scene, something has changed. Vijay has successfully weathered to the storm. He has not cracked. In fact, he has successfully planted the seed of his simple man person in her mind. He has subtly taken control of the narrative. The scene turns from straightforward interrogation to demonstration of Vijay's quiet brilliance. The power dynamic will not officially change, it has been psychologically altered. We leave the scene knowing this will be a battle between two highly intelligent opposites. The entire rest of the film set up in this one perfectly constructed scene. While every scene needs the core DNA, scenes can change designed to serve different primary functions. You have the plot scene. Its main job to move the narrative forward. Think of a heist movie where the team gathers around a table to go over the plan. The primary function is to give the audience information about what's going to happen next. You have the character scene. Its main job is to reveal character. Think of a quiet scene between two friends where they just talk about their fears and dreams. It might not drastically change the plot, but it depends our emotional connection to people in the story. And you have the set piece. A set piece is a big, memorable, self-contained sequence that is often a major selling point of the movie. It's usually a blend of a plot and a character, dialed up to the 11. The Saturn Minute speech in Czech Day, India. The climactic cricket match in Lagan. The Chaya Chaya dance on the train in Dilse. There are set pieces, there are high points of spectacle and emotion. The best screenplay have a healthy rhythm, balancing these different types of scene to keep the audience engaged. To prove that a scene's power comes from conflict and the change, not just let's look all the scene with no dialogue at all. The introductory chase sequence in Anurag Basu's Barfil. In this scene, Barfi is being chased by a police officer, played by Saurabh Shukla. The goal Barfi wants to escape. The obstacle a very present, if clumsy police officer. The conflict unfolds a series of brilliant visual gags, a sliding ladder, a collapsing wall, a perfectly timed street performance. Through this action, without a single word being spoken, we learn everything we need to know about Burfi's character. He is clever, agile about and miss chaos. He is a bit of troublemaker, but then in the middle of the chase he stops to help the officer, readjusting his slipping shots for him. It's a small moment, but it's a huge character turn. Villain, he is also fundamentally kind and good-hearted. The scene tells a completely story visually. It demonstrates that the core principal goal obstacle, conflict, and turn are the universal language of cinema, with or without words. Okay, it's time to become an artist. This week's exercise is to create a scene card. This is a powerful tool for planning your movie. Before you get lost in writing pages, take an index card or just a small section of a document. For one important scene in your story area, I want you to define its core components. First, write a scene heading, for example, int old warehouse night. Second goal, write down the character goals. What does your protagonist want to in this scene? What does the other character want? Third, define the conflict. How do these goals clash? What is obstacle? And finally, the most important, describe the turn. What is different at the end of the second scene compared to the beginning? Does the power dynamics shift? Does a secret get revealed? Does hope turn into despair? By defining these elements before you write, you guarantee that your scene will have purpose, driven, and impact. The scene, it is the fundamental building block of your screenplay. It is the unit of conflict defined by a goal and an obstacle, and it must always turn master the art of the scene, and you will have the power to construct a story that is engaging moment from a page one of the very end. If a scene is a single brick, how do we put them together to build a wall? How do individual movements connect from a larger, more powerful movement? Next episode on the Cinemacraft Achieves, we explore that very question with episode 10, Training Pales, Building Sequences. Until then, build your blocks.